Hey everybody, I'm the Ranting Monkey, and with me tonight is Satsu2Cents. Say hi, Sat.
What up, though?
For those of you who've been watching my streams for a long time, you know Pat. God damn it.
Oh boy, you're already fucking up, monkey.
I know. Anyhow, for those of you who've been watching a long time, you already know Satsu. For those of you who don't, he's a great YouTube creator. He used to stream with us a lot, and now you do a lot more of your live stream videos with gameplay, right?
Yeah, just to kind of connect with my peoples on a closer level.
How do you like doing those? I've always thought about doing gameplay. My internet couldn't work it, but I suck at most games when I first start, and I would feel like I'm making a fool of myself.
Well, you'll find out that matters less and less. As a matter of fact, the shittier you are, the better the conversations in the chat are.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's kind of how it works. It's always a good conversation though. Like I always have a good time, and it's way more chill. Like you feel less inclined to like try to find a topic, and you just shoot the shit, you know. And it's a lot more relaxing.
Yeah, anytime where we're desperate for an actual topic, it just seems so. It's a little bit. There's a little bit of anxiety there, where when we're just shooting the shit, I have a lot of fun, and it doesn't always make for the best content, but it's a lot more fun for me.
Yeah.
Terry D. Minus asks, since when has making a fool of yourself stopped you, monkey? That's a good point. This is something my mother noticed when I was very young. She wrote an essay about each of. I have two brothers, so she wrote an essay about each of us boys when I was about 5 years old. And in it, she mentioned how I wouldn't do anything until I was absolutely sure I could. And I read this when I was like 15 or so, and I'm like, oh my God, she's right. So something like a game, I would have to get a little good at it before I actually like stuck it out there on the internet. Even if I made a fool of myself, I've got to know at least the basics, you know?
Well, you should have seen me. You should have seen me failing on Plague Inc. Like, I swear to God, I was trying to destroy the world with a fungus, and I failed numerous times, and they were loving it.
I love Plague Inc. That game is horrible yet awesome.
It is super fun. I didn't mean to cut you off, though.
Oh no. Anyway, the reason you're seeing a second stream tonight is Satsu has a standing invitation on my channel to come on whenever he wants. And he asked if he could come on the show tonight, which wasn't on my channel. And we'd already asked your boy Pat if he wanted to join us. And if you go over 4 people on a stream, at least in my experience, it gets chaotic to a point that's more confusing than fun. Even 4, it sometimes can get a little too much, in my opinion. So Satsu wanted to discuss the video from yesterday with Bobo the clown, and I love talking to Satsu, so we decided to do it after the show. So that's what we're here to do.
Oh yeah, not to mention the fact that 2 black guys and 1 monkey stream. I don't know if that was work out.
I actually told him that when I talked to you, I was going to tell you that we had the other black guy on tonight.
The other. I swear to God, man, every day I got to deal with this shit.
For those of you who don't know that story, you want to tell them what happens when you tell people you're a YouTuber?
Yeah, well, they go through the list of all the popular YouTubers that matter, and then they eventually get to a point to where they're like, who the fuck are you again? And I'm like, well, I'm certainly not the 6 people you just named.
Yes, indeed. Oh,
they're like,
God.
oh, you're the irrelevant one. I got you. I see. I knew that.
So what'd you think of Bobo?
Oh, God. Like, okay. So what was really funny is, like, I think I've told you this before, but you have a very bad habit of, as I'm writing a script for a video, I'll be like, I wonder what the fuck Monkey's doing. And I'll check out your channel. I'm like, this motherfucker. I was just about to do this. Oh, my God. So, but I wasn't gonna do like a full response or whatever, because I'm kind of, as you can see, I don't know if you've seen my videos lately, but I've kind of been stepping away from response videos. And I've been kind of getting more into as opposed to like responding to what that person said. Like I talk about the concept or the argument itself. Like I take the person out of the equation because that just gets annoying after a while. I'm just like, I don't want to deal with this shit. So like I'll take the argument and I'll single it out, and then we'll talk about maybe the pros and the cons of the argument. But yeah, I was just about to talk about that, like just the concept of debate and why we have our discussions and, you know, our motives, you know, behind why we do what we do. And yeah.
You were also just kind of having this argument on Twitter, right?
Yeah. I was literally just talking to somebody on Twitter about it like 5 minutes ago. So yeah, and it's go ahead, I'm sorry.
I have a real problem with where the SJWs are going with this because let's be honest, this is coming from Shives. Shives has been pushing this for quite a while. And I have a problem with this notion that we shouldn't engage each other. And Bobo actually said something that I don't think I've seen them say out loud yet, but it's something I've been thinking of. They want to go after people who are uninitiated. And he actually says people who don't believe. And I about lost my shit when he said that. And I meant to mention it in the video itself because that line, believe, are like, it's not about believing.
Yeah.
You're either right or wrong. Your facts are either right or wrong. We can look at, and I've said this many times, two people can look at the same facts and come away with a different conclusion. That is absolutely possible. What you can't do is make up your own facts.
Exactly.
And yeah, and what my problem with many SJWs is they just make up their own facts. And then they don't want to just, well, we're not going to engage in that. We're not going to let them question that, because if we do, well, then people are going to notice we're entirely full of shit. But yeah, his thing, well, we have to go after people who are just going to listen and believe what we fucking say.
Like, yeah, somebody pointed it out in the chat that he specified the word ignorant, and that's what I was going to focus on in my video. Was the fact that I'm like, yes, he wants to get oblivious people who are ignorant to the situation, because they are the easiest to flip. They will give you the least amount of resistance, so that's who they want to go after. And what was really funny, like the major flaw in his argument is he's like, you know, they want to embarrass us, they want to defeat us or whatever. So when we get into these streams and then they do that, you know, we play their game and they win because they set the rules. I'm like, a debate is a debate. They, you know, if as long as there's not a mediator, it's just me and you. If you lose, like, those are the only stipulations. We have a discussion as long as I'm letting you speak and you're letting me speak, and we have a discussion, and at the end of it, the audience agrees with me. That means you just lost. But he basically used the fact that they can't win arguments as a reason to not go into, or he was like, basically, we keep losing, and this is a trap, so we need to stop doing that and go for the ignorant people. That's exactly what he said. That was exactly the argument he put forth.
Well, I was very careful to make sure that I said, yes, I want to beat your argument, because I absolutely do. He's not wrong about that.
Exactly.
Because I think his argument is detrimental. And the SJW, I'm not specifically not just his argument, the SJW argument.
Exactly.
There's somebody in the chat right now who I'm actually going to be making my next video about, or I've started making a video about. Her name is Res Please. And these two videos that, my last one and the one I'm working on, they came to my attention at the same time. We had Bobo the Clown, and then we had Res Please. And Res Please has a video called My SJW Story. And Res is still as far as I know, dyed-in-the-wool feminist.
Okay.
But she got into some SJW crowds here on YouTube. And without actually watching any anti-SJW content, she became aware of us because the people she followed and who became her friends made a lot of videos about us. She doesn't say so, but I'm guessing it's the Christie crew. And I'm guessing that because she talks about a stream she was on. She made a comment on some video disparaging some anti-SJW. Again, she doesn't tell us who. But somebody responded to her, how can you be disparaging them when you haven't even watched their content? And as a credit to her, she went, you know what, you're right, I'm going to go watch. And it turned out she actually kind of liked it. She doesn't agree with it. She doesn't agree with the politics of it, but she enjoyed the content.
Mm-hmm.
And this led her to actually start watching Bearing.
Mm-hmm.
And she went on a stream with, I know Christy was there, Michael was there. I forget who else. There was a whole ton of these fucknuts. And she made the mistake of, when they were talking about Bearing, they were laughing about how people find Bearing funny.
I seen that stream.
Yes.
Dude, I know exactly who you're talking about. I seen that.
Yeah, that's Res Please. And she's actually got a really great channel. And if you guys haven't seen it, you guys should check it out.
Yeah, I meant to look her up because I had no idea who she was, but I seen that clip and I was like, wait a minute. And I was watching, I'm like, so are they really like jumping down her throat just because she said that he's funny? Like, she didn't say she agrees with him. She just said, like, when I watch his videos, I laugh. So I mean, I can't fucking help it. They're just funny.
Exactly. And this led her eventually to break away from that group, largely because they turned their back on her, because she talked to Bearing on her channel and wasn't a cunt to him. And that made it all fall apart because she fucking talked to the guy. Wow. Thank you, Terry Diamandis. Monkey Dick Jim Jones movies. Oops, wrong stream. Thank you. But that's where we've got to. And anytime you bring up, SJWs won't talk to us, they'll go, oh, Christy has talked to some, or Michael's talked to some. But if you watch those ones where they've engaged at all, they are complete cunts the whole time.
Yeah.
You're allowed to talk to the other side. If you're an SJW, you're allowed to talk to the other side as long as you're being a dick to them.
Yeah. What kills me though is, like, we'll be like, and this is literally the order of the conversation. And I like to do this because it puts shit into perspective. I'm like, hey, I disagree with you. I want to have a conversation. And they're like, no, you're not interested in having a conversation. And I'm like, but I literally just said, I want to have a conversation.
Yes.
Those were my actual words.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how the fuck you gonna tell me what I'm interested in? Like, what else? What are we gonna do? You gonna get on here and I'm gonna challenge you to a game of Cards Against Humanity? Like, no, I literally want to have a conversation with you. And when you get into the stream, that's what's gonna happen. Now, if you say something dumb, I may call you an idiot, but that just comes with the territory.
Well, this is what we were just talking about with your Twitter conversation. You were talking to you replied to somebody on Twitter and you called him an idiot in the first reply, right?
Yeah.
And from that point on, nothing you've said matters because you called this guy an idiot.
Yeah, like, he completely liked the criticism that I levied or whatever. And the thing is, though, the funny thing about it is I called him an idiot because of what he said. Because he was saying, like, a debate is it's just a screaming match between two people. It's not in good faith, so it's a waste of time. And I'm just like, yeah, but if we're talking about a public debate, it's two people putting forth perspectives so that way the audience can gain both perspectives and then make an informed decision on which way they lean.
Mm-hmm.
And, instead of responding to that, he said something to the effect of, oh, well, apparently calling people an idiot is what geniuses do. Who knew? And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? And then I'm like, see, this is why I called you an idiot, because you say dumb shit. And in response to my valid criticism, even though I called you an idiot, you responded by being a bigger idiot. So how can I help that?
Res Please just said, I feel like conversations are more productive than formal debates. I absolutely agree. And somebody asked me, because apparently Christy put out the thing that she would debate anybody, and she has her rules. She wants to do a formal debate, and those are just boring as fuck, for one, and two, they're not productive. Right. When I talked to Communist in Space, I debated him about communism a while back. I didn't go into that thinking he would change his mind at all. Mm-hmm. And you're right. It's not for me. It's not for him. It's for the audience. And if you get bogged down in, academic papers that nobody has the time to challenge, it's not productive at all. I feel you should be able to have a conversation using mostly logic.
Yeah. And essentially, like because it's kind of misleading to say that a debate is just a screaming match between two people, because essentially it's just a public conversation. It is a conversation that is put on display for other people to see. And what usually ends up happening is like, let's just say me and you were in private company and we're going to have a conversation about something. You know what I mean? Like the conversation is probably going to be a lot more chill. Like I might not, maybe probe you as much because it's just me and you. It'll be more personal or anything like that. But I think less punches are pulled when it's public. You know what I mean? And I'm not talking about like personal attacks on that person. I'm talking about really trying to get some information out, because now you're like, I know what I think, and I pretty much got a pretty good idea what you think, but I want this to be put out in its rawest form because they need to know. You know what I mean? Like, and if me and you were talking in private, obviously we're going to extend each other certain courtesies, because it's just like, there's no reason to kind of, put you on the spot or anything like that. But when people, and not only that, you have to understand that, like, you have your concerns, like me and you, we have our own basic specific concerns. And when I talk to you, or if I'm having a debate with you, I'm going to talk about what interests me or what, what's on my mind. But when I'm doing a public debate, talking in front of a whole bunch of other people, I'm not just thinking about questions and stuff that I want to know. Like, we're talking about the whole range of things, because we got a bunch of people with different perspectives watching too. You know what I mean? So you have to take that into account. So I think they're both effective if done properly.
Yeah, and they can both be just as ineffective if they're done poorly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I enjoy the conversation type. Somebody got mad at me because I said formal debates are boring. They are boring. I don't care what you think. They're one of the things about a formal debate is if you're doing a formal debate, you literally should be able to do either side.
Yeah.
Most people can't do that in a conversation because your own bias is still going to seep in there. And I'm okay with the bias side of it, because I want to have a conversation where you tell me what you think, I tell you what I think. We might clash. And I don't know if you saw the vegan gains one. A lot of people thought it was meant. I like a spirited debate. I would love to have I would love to talk to Richard again about almost anything that we disagree with, because he's willing to, shit talk. Where in most of the conversational debates that you see especially on YouTube, it turns very nice. People who have been, horrible to each other are suddenly very nice. And I can deal with that, and I can do that. I can go with the flow. But for me personally, it's a lot more fun if we're shit talking each other while we do it.
Yeah, I mean, and it's an acquired taste. Like, not everybody's going to do it the same way. Not everybody can be efficient in the same way. But like I said, I don't know. I feel like they both have a purpose, and they should be used accordingly. Like, both forms of conversation, they have their purposes, and they're both, valid ways to, get out information, or just be able to kind of pick the other person's brain to see what's going on, whether it's in front of a crowd or not. Some people deal with more private conversations better. Some people deal with a more structured debate better, and some people just want to go out and fucking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Sir Adamantine, thank you so much. Hi Monkey, great guest. On top of his other videos, Satsu makes the best cooking videos.
Oh dude, did you see that I started doing cooking videos?
I have not.
Yeah.
I will definitely check them out.
Oh god. Can you guess what my last thing was?
I don't want to, man.
You want to. You're going to get it right.
No, I don't.
Come on.
No, fuck you. You've gotten me in trouble before. You're not doing it again.
Damn it, he didn't fall for it. Okay, go ahead.
But man, my fucking list of people to watch just keeps growing, and my time to watch is shrinking rapidly.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Walters asked, was it ribs? I'm betting it wasn't ribs.
No, it wasn't ribs.
God damn you, Satsu. But to me, back to the conversation, I have a big problem with this notion that we shouldn't, that SJW shouldn't engage. And it really comes off like you're absolutely right. We have a shitty argument, so we shouldn't have the argument. That's
but like it doesn't make any sense, because it's like, okay, this person has a shitty argument, right? They have a shitty argument, so I'm not going to expose this shitty argument. That's almost like if two people like, come on, you grew up in the same type of environment I grew up. So let me paint this scenario for you because I know you'll get it.
Okay.
Two kids in the park. They have a dispute, have a debate, get into a little tussle or whatever. They're getting ready to fight. Dude's like, I'm going to beat your ass. Other dude's like, no, you can't beat my ass because you can't fight. He's like, okay, we'll prove it. No, I'm not going to fight you because you're not interested in a real fight. What does that say about that person?
Yeah. That's saying, please don't punch me.
Yes, that means you're probably going to kick my ass. So I'm going to dip out of this before I get myself into something I can't get myself out of. That's exactly what that is.
And I think I understand why it's happening the way it is. On YouTube, feminists have been fucking destroyed, absolutely just beaten off the platform. Because anytime they open their mouths, a whole bunch of people run out to go, haha, look what this idiot just said.
Mm-hmm.
And if you watch any of the videos where people like go out and they're, trying to get support for whatever, gay marriage, pollution reduction, any kind of thing where they're going out and they're trying to get people, and they'll tell them, yeah, I'm out here because X is happening and we need to stop it. Most of the people who walk by will grab that clipboard and sign on, even though they have no fucking idea what what the topic is really about.
Oh yeah.
And with something like especially feminism or race issues, most people are going to be like, oh yeah, I'm not sexist, I'm not racist. Yeah, I'm going to jump on and help that out.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes it look like it grows much more than it actually does. But they're still uninitiated non-believers who just, they're not actually going to jump onto the bandwagon. It's just going to make it look like the numbers are puffed up.
Yeah, but I think go ahead. I'm sorry.
Look, I was going to say, when they do a poll, do you think women should be paid the same as men? Mm-hmm. Who doesn't think that?
Of course.
So then they can go, hey, look, guys, all these people think this, so everybody's a feminist. Like, no, you just framed a stupid fucking question.
Well, see, like that's what I was saying. The point you just brought up was very interesting. Like going out and talking to these people, because like the talking to the ignorant and recruiting the people who don't know better, who don't know anything about it, that's just step one. That's part one. Mm-hmm. Step two is keeping them ignorant. Having a conversation with the other side enlightens them of what the other side's actual views are. They don't need to know what the other side's actual views are. They need to know what you told them the other side's views are. And you can't keep that secret if you get into a debate with the opposition. If you actually talk to the opposition and they're there, sitting there, starry-eyed, looking at you with their hands crossed like, well, I'm ready to hear all the arguments that you said they had, because that's what you said, that this is what they stand for. And when they listen to us literally say the complete opposite and put forth what we actually stand for, they're going to be looking at them like, that's not what you told us. You remember? That's totally different than what you told us. You said that they all hate women, that they hate discussion, and they hate debate, and they hate progress, and they hate trans people. That's what you told us.
This is exactly why I recommend Rez's video and why I'm doing a response kind of to it. I'm not ripping it apart. I'm actually agreeing with a lot of what she says. Mm-hmm. She had that exact experience. She didn't know any anti-SJWs. She hadn't watched any of them. And that allowed her to have that righteous indignation about how much we suck, mm-hmm. because that's what she'd been told.
Exactly.
But when she went and looked herself, and she admits that, there's a lot of bad jokes in there. There's a lot of insensitive crap. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of people she still disagrees with, but she doesn't think, we're all hateful, ignorant bigots, because most of us aren't. We do like to joke. But for the most part, our argument isn't, women suck and should be kept in the kitchen. It's no, your argument about the wage gap is wrong. Or, you can't complain about the glass ceiling when a woman was literally an inch away from the fucking presidency.
Oh yeah.
Things have changed, and we need to, maybe acknowledge that.
Yeah, and like the arguments, they just don't hold up. And like none of us will ever deny, because like they try to use that as like a weapon against us. They're like, well, you're an asshole. And I'm like, yeah, I am. But Can we like have this conversation? Like, and whenever anybody has come out and they said, fuck that dude, he's an asshole. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm an asshole, but I still have an opinion. Like, would you like to talk about it? And, fuck you, you're mean. And I'm just like, come on, dude. Like, this is this is like fucking elementary school. I just want to have a discussion. I'm not. If you agree to have a discussion, then clearly I'm not going to be an asshole to you directly. I say assholish things because sometimes they're funny. As you can see in my videos that I've been doing, I kind of been stepping away from that. Like I said, I've been talking less about the person and more about the topic that they're talking about, because just things are cleaner that way. Like, it just I get to the point a lot quicker. There's a lot less incentive for me to be like, look at this idiot's face or some stupid shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, and not like, I want to, like, it's not like I'm trying to like clean up my act, or I'm just like, oh, I gotta make sure I'm PC or anything like that. It's just like, I felt after watching my videos, some of the videos that I did back then, that I spent way too much time focusing on shit that was like irrelevant. Like, I would go off on these tangents that didn't matter. When I had the person in the video, or when I was like responding to like a full video word for word, everything they said, I'm just like, I hang too much on shit that doesn't matter. This is not actually helping the argument at all. This is just like a side point that could not be in the video. You know what I mean? And I realized that about my own content, based off all the VidCon stuff and the stuff that was going on. And you should take a critical look at yourself if you want to do better, especially if you're trying to actually further the conversation. So I had no problem with that. But I'm just like acknowledge the fact that we actually have arguments. You know what I mean?
Well, you and I talked about this before the stream, and this is something that has driven me nuts about the Christie crew when it comes to bearing since I got on YouTube. They insist he makes no arguments. All he does is insult people.
Yeah.
And actually, if you've been watching, especially since he came back, we can't really go back and see his old content, but for at least as long as I've been watching him, he's stepped away from actually insulting people. He insults their ideas mostly. And he makes arguments all the fucking time. But you had this experience with your Twitter thing. Just because he's insulted somebody one time, nothing else he says matters. Nothing. Not only does it not matter, it doesn't even fucking exist.
Oh yeah. Well, like I said, it's an escape mechanism. Like, basically, these people are looking for an out. They don't want to have the discussion. They're projecting, obviously, because anybody who really wanted to have a discussion, they have no problem having a discussion. Clearly, they have a Twitter. They're on social media. They're talking. So they don't have a problem with talking at all. But they have a problem with defending their own views because a lot of them don't even really fully understand them or even know what they are. And B, when they're asked for evidence, they're like, I can't be fucked with that. Like, oh, that's too. If you want, you should educate yourself. And I'm just like, but you are making these claims in like absolute confidence. Like, so why should I have to go look up something that you are trying to convince me is true?
Yeah.
Why can't you present the information to me? Give me the link. I'll go look it up myself. I'm not asking you to come over and sit at my computer desk. You don't have
to read it to me.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, provide me with some type of evidence so that way I know. And then we get to the narrative. Like, as soon as that shit comes out, we get to the, well, if you ask for narrative, then that's facetious and you're being underhanded by asking me to prove my claims. And I'm just like, this is why I call you an idiot. Like, now we're back at square one. Now I got to call you an idiot again. It's so frustrating, dude. It is so frustrating.
I've actually tried moving away from insulting people directly. I will still insult their arguments, and I can't help myself from occasionally calling somebody a dumb motherfucker. I did that with Bobo. But I don't generally respond to as much of a video as I did with his. I pull a pertinent part out, something that I think is important, and I will address that. And if somebody else wants to break down the whole thing, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I try to go after what I find the most important topic. And as I was watching his, my original plan with that video was actually to contrast his with Rez's video. And that's what my next one will be about. But as I was cutting it up, everything he said just kept pissing me off. The whole idea that we can't have this argument. They're winning because they're setting the debate terms. No, we're not. We never have done that. SJWs have always been on the defensive. Or sorry, anti-SJWs have always been on the defensive on YouTube because we're always responding. So the notion that we are setting the argument is fucking retarded to begin with.
Oh yeah.
But he actually said we can't the way we make that, or we have to go after the dumb people and bring them in, and that makes the anti-SJWs irrelevant.
Yeah, because he said, like, once we fill their heads with our arguments and we get society to move the way that we want them to, they can't do anything about that. And I'm like, but you just demonstrated that every time you get in a situation where we have to present our arguments, you lose. You end up smashed and all of your recruits become our recruits. Not that it's about that, but that's just the nature of the beast. People gravitate towards things that make sense. But that's what I'm saying. That's why I said it's a two-step process. You have to find the ignorant, and then you have to work to keep them ignorant.
Yeah. Yeah, that video just pissed me off so much. It really did.
Yeah, it was I was watching it too. I'm like, God damn it, man. This I'm like, me and Monkey, I swear to God, like we be on the same wavelengths.
Well, you mentioned me doing the video when you were planning on it. You know what I do? I like the video on masturbation. I know many people responded to it, and I wanted to watch them all, but I wanted to respond to it myself.
Yeah.
So I didn't watch anything until after I did mine.
Oh, okay.
Even though I know people did it, and I'm sure somebody hit some of the same points. Yeah, that's my trick to get around that, because I have that problem too. Especially like no bullshit. I don't know if you watch him.
Yeah.
That motherfucker puts out so much content, and he hits everything I want to talk about.
Oh yeah, he's quick, man. I just like, I don't know. I mean, I could do it, but my motivation, man, sometimes I wake up in the morning and I'm just like, fuck it.
Well, as you're well aware, mine is mostly about time. I could sit here and do this all day. I really enjoy the video process.
Well, I do too. I got a new program that I don't know. Like you said, you haven't really been on my channel as of late, but my production quality has gone up quite a bit because Camtasia, I use Camtasia. Right, and they just released Camtasia 9, and pretty much all the fancy edits and little stuff that I was doing before, where I was kind of working my magic with 8, that shit's all built into 9. So I was just like, holy shit. So if you check out some of my recent videos, you'll be like, holy shit, Satsu's stepping it up.
Real quick, Ryan Swanson in the chat says, Monkey, do you find it bizarre or bewildering that you and feminists / SJWs have the same goal culturally? No, we don't. We really don't. My goal is to let everybody live their life and just have fun. And their goal is to beat us all into a very specific path of what they consider to be righteous behavior.
Right.
And if you don't believe that, go watch Rez Please's video, My SJW Story.
Yeah.
And this is from somebody who was in the camp and who is still a feminist.
Oh yeah, and it's one of those things. I just read an article too about the being excommunicated from the Church of Social Justice, and I was just like checking that out, and it literally just kind of laid it out, just like and also I watched the Dave Rubin and Lacey Green yeah, and she talked about the exact same thing, and like. She was saying that her experience kind of escaping Mormonism or whatever, because her family were Mormons or whatever. And she said that kind of, I need to get out of this kind of oppressive type. These people want to control me. There's all these rules and things that I have to do or whatever. She said it felt exactly the same when she left not left feminism, but when she left the SJW sphere. She said the same liberation she got from leaving her overly religious family, she got that exact same feeling leaving the SJW community. You know what I mean? I was like, that is insane.
I'm going to spoil a bit of Rez's video for people who are going to watch it. And I recommend it, guys. It is a fucking awesome video.
I'm going to watch it right after this.
She starts out by saying that she had just watched Lacey on the Rubin Report.
Yeah.
And that then she says, I'm going to tell my story because it's related. And near the end of it, after she goes through the story and she's talking about how she's, unfriended by all these people who, were her friends. But again, she talked nicely to Bering, so they can't talk to her anymore.
Mm-hmm.
She said it was like a weight was lifted, and I'm paraphrasing here. She used a different how does she put it? That she was in a box. She felt like she was in this box where she had to adhere to their rules. And once she was out of that, even though at first it hurt because she lost all these friends,
Mm-hmm.
once that initial part was gone, it was relief. It was like,
Yeah,
I can be myself.
exactly. Because like one of the most constricting things about being in a group like that is like, yes, these people kind of align with my views, and yes, I feel like I'm on the right side of history. Yes, I feel like I'm fighting the good fight, but I don't feel like I can express myself fully. And it's like, those guys are assholes. They say really mean things. Some of them aren't nice. Some of them have like these ulterior motives or whatever to just, some of them don't actually want to have, but at least I can talk to this person and have a full-blown discussion and say everything that's on my mind, and then we can go have a drink. You know what I mean? At the very least, that could happen. But over here, everything you do is just like the church cracking down on you. Like they're looking at you like, you've sinned. Now you must be punished, and you have to like repent, and you have to apologize, and all that bullshit. Like me and you.
Let me
Go
blow
ahead.
your mind here. She's talking about how when she first gets into the group, she's worried about, saying the wrong thing. So she brought it up to some of them. They gave her a handbook on how to behave.
Oh my god.
They even have a fucking Bible now.
Oh my god.
It's like, oh my god. Yeah. So when I see now, I want to be clear here. Bobo has a very small channel. He's not reaching a large audience, but he's part of the Steve Shives mentality. This, like as I said at the beginning, this is coming from Shives. That's where this whole we can't talk to them has really blown up.
Yeah.
And it's starting to leak out there more and more. And just like any stupid SJW shit, it needs to be beaten down.
Well, you know what? I think we should let it go on a little longer, and I'm gonna explain to you why. Because every time another person comes out and pushes this argument, we get more people realizing what's going on around them. Like, and obviously it's not going to be everybody. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think we should employ exactly what we've been trying to get them to employ. Let the idiot speak. As a matter of fact, my philosophy is if an idiot is speaking out on a corner and people can't hear him, give that motherfucker a megaphone. Like, let him speak louder, build a podium for him, lift him up, and allow him to speak louder. You like, this guy's speaking crazy. Oh yeah, well, get him a microphone, get a couple amps, allow the world to hear this stupidity, because the more people hear it, the more people are gonna be like, dude, shut the hell up. But if you conceal it, then people aren't gonna know. Like, she probably would have never experienced what she experienced if it wasn't for her kind of being put in that position. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where I'm like, fuck it, let them talk, let it happen.
I want to address that, but I want to clarify something. Rez, please, said in the chat, it was an article about how to be in intersectional feminist circles. I jokingly called it a guidebook. Based on your experience, I would say it was pretty much a guidebook.
That is crazy, man.
Yeah.
Do you know, like, I would literally get up and walk away. Like,
I'd tell them to go fuck themselves.
Oh yeah, like there's no way. I would literally laugh, hand the book back to them, and just walk away. Like, are you fucking?
I love you, but if you told me, Monkey, you can't say that, I would tell you to go get fucked. I really would. I'd be like, no, go fuck yourself. I can say whatever I want to.
And I'd be like, I'll go do that. You passed.
about giving an idiot a microphone, or megaphone. I agree with you, but here's the problem. If they're just allowed to say it their way, especially when they're specifically targeting dumb people who aren't going to dig any further.
Yeah.
That I don't think is helpful. What I think the megaphone is in this case is us highlighting it.
Yeah.
So like somebody like Bobo taking his video, even though I want to say he has like 300 subs, I don't remember, but taking that video and going, look, guys, this is what they're saying now. That to me is the megaphone.
You know, if it didn't violate YouTube's terms and conditions, like what I want to do is I want to just be like, this is the new response video, right? I'm gonna take somebody's video, just like mirror it or something, make it smaller, and just put it on my channel. Just watch it. Like you can't say that I didn't influence anything. This is the raw argument that they have in its purest form. Just watch this video and see if the result is different. See if people are gonna be like, wow, they make a lot of sense. Just because I'm not there telling them it doesn't make sense, because that's their biggest flaw right now. They have no faith in the people who follow them. None whatsoever. They think they're all completely stupid, and they're like, we can't let them go out and do their own thing. We can't allow them to think on their own. They're idiots. They'll believe anything. And I'm like, that's
why Lacey has been such a horrible nightmare to them, because one, Lacey has a large audience, and two, she put out the notion of talking to the other side, which is scary as fuck to SJWs. Because as Bobo told us, they can't win the argument.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's tripped out though is like on certain situations, like I've had discussions with actual informed feminists, and I've been shut down at least 2 or 3, 4 times that I can remember, where I was like, holy shit, I might need to reevaluate this. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's just like, and those moments are good for me. Like I really like that. Like whenever I'm having a conversation with somebody, or I'm having a debate about something I feel strongly about, and they silence me, they're like, and I'm like, shit, that excites me. I'm like, fuck, okay, now I need to go back and rework this because there's something I'm missing. I didn't think about it from this perspective, so now I got a whole new angle to look at this, and then I alter my argument. You know what I mean? I can improve and reinforce my argument because I got smacked down. You know what I mean? Right. And I like that.
I enjoy, one of the things I do enjoy about debate is having my perspective challenged, because I can sit here all day long and try to tear apart my own argument, but I'm not somebody else. Somebody else is going to see it in a different light, and maybe they're going to be right about that. Maybe there's a point I hadn't thought of, and that's one of my favorite parts of it.
Oh yeah. There was a shit, I just had a talk with somebody. The only reason I still use Facebook is because my family uses Facebook, and if I didn't have it, I wouldn't talk to anybody in my family. But I was talking to this dude about like he was saying that, you know, he has a lot of friends who are white, you know what I mean? And like he has to deal with on the regular basis, you know, all these kind of racist situations or whatever. And I don't doubt it, because, you know, I have to deal with some of that shit too. Everybody has to deal with shitty people, you know what I mean? But what he was saying was, it's kind of disheartening when he's around his friends who are white and like some racist shit goes down, and like he doesn't expect him to like jump forward and be like, hey, you know, or white knight for him. But he was like just the no reaction, like it's normal, is just uncomfortable for him. He was like, and I don't want to be that guy, you know, and jump down there throwing him like, hey dude, you're supposed to like defend me because you saw. He was like, and I don't want to make them feel like it's their obligation to do something because they're not racist, that asshole is, you know what I mean? But he was like, sometimes you just kind of want it, you know what I mean? Just like you want them to like show you like, I'm not complacent with this. Like, I don't think that this is okay. And I'm like, well, you can't assume that they don't think that way. And he was like, well, why can't I? Because if this can happen numerous times in their company and they seem unfazed by it, then what am I supposed to think? And I didn't have an answer. Like, I really could not answer that question. I'm like, I don't really know, but you shouldn't assume the worst. And he was like, well, I mean, that's kind of hard not to do. And I was like, well, I couldn't give him an answer.
I see his point. It could be it's that just they don't want to get confrontational about it. I don't know the people. Maybe he knows that they're perfectly happy being confrontational, you know?
Yeah.
Somebody asked in chat what you meant by being silenced when you were talking to feminists or SJWs, and from the way I understand it, and I should make sure I clarify. What you mean is that they shut down one of your arguments. They said something that you didn't have a counter for.
Yeah, like not like being silenced as in like not able to speak, but like they made a point that was so valid that I literally didn't have a response. Like I was like, yeah. And I was like, holy shit.
Another comment I want to address. This came from Andy F. So many anti-feminists / anti-SJWs on YouTube, but sadly they seem to be in factions or something, even criticizing each other. Criticizing each other is a good thing. You're not wrong about the. I don't know if I'd call it factions, but there's definitely cliques. Sometimes they're very hateful towards each other. For the most part, from what I've seen, though, it's just people who challenge each other when they have an issue. Like, to give a perfect example would be Armored Skeptic went on a stream with Garrett and Shoe on Head and what's dumb fuck's name? Tim, the Motivator Opinion. And on this stream, he rips into Bearing for going after 12-year-old bedroom feminists, while Shoe is sitting right there who does the exact fucking same kind of content.
Right.
There is a kind of a faction that follows Armored and another one that follows Bearing, and they don't necessarily get along because Armored Skeptic can kind of be a douche about this stuff. Mm-hmm. I mean, like in that instance, he's literally sitting there bashing somebody for what he's giving his girlfriend a pass for.
Yeah.
One of the first times I ever saw Shoe on Head, and this is a true story. I wish I could remember what video it was on. Undoomed and Bearing had both made a response to somebody that Shoe on Head had. And a bunch of Bearing and Undoomed fans jumped on Shoe on Head for using Bearing's and Undoomed's jokes. And Shoe on Head in the comments pointed out she had made her video like a month before Undoomed or Bearing. So she was actually saying, look, I am even a bigger shitlord than they are. And here's Greg being a fucking douche, ripping into Bearing because he's on this stream with fucking loser SJWs. Right. And he's virtue signaling to show that, he's not like that evil Bearing dude.
Yeah.
When his girlfriend does the exact same fucking shit. But as to the overall point, it's good to challenge each other. This is one of the problems with feminists. I did a video a long time ago on Ranting Feminist because she had been on a Bearing stream. And she basically said, she did not use these exact words, but she basically said that they keep a united front when they're in public. Mm-hmm. They talk.
Yeah,
you remember the united front thing. Mm-hmm. She got really pissed about me using those words. They argue apparently with each other behind closed doors, but they will not do it out in the open.
Exactly. I heard her say, I know you're saying she basically said that. That is what she said. That's what she said.
But she didn't use the words united front.
She didn't use the words united front, but she literally said, like, yeah, we don't do it in public. Obviously. Yeah. No, we don't want people to see us disagree because that would hurt the narrative. We only disagree in private, so that way we don't want to confuse the idiots because they'll get confused and they won't know what to do with that.
Well, one of the problems in that case is
shit.
Bearing responded to a girl who did a video where she said that a woman is raped every 6 seconds in the United States.
Yeah.
And she said that because she went to a BuzzFeed article, and on her video, she basically read the BuzzFeed article. And they listed a woman is raped. You can still find this article on BuzzFeed that a woman is raped every 6 seconds in the United States.
Right. And
a bunch of the SJWs commented on her video about how great it was, and not one of them said one thing: good video, but you fucked up this one stat. The stat is actually, I think, every 6 minutes, which is just a whole lot less.
Yeah, but it's still, and I get what people saying, oh, it's still terrible. I'm like, yes, it's still terrible. So why do you have to make it worse? Like, exactly. What is the point of you fucking stretching the narrative and being dishonest about a statistic that's bad enough?
Yeah, and in this case, if they would have gone, look, you just made a mistake right here, they would have made her argument stronger. And
Hmm.
instead, all they did is pat her on the back because they didn't want to, give her any discouragement. You,
Exactly.
when you do that, you're not making your argument stronger. If you find I made a mistake, I want you to point it out because I
Exactly.
want to have a better argument. I don't want to sound like an idiot. Nobody wants to sound like an idiot. And if I am sounding like an idiot, I would rather get told sooner rather than later. So I'm not saying stupid shit longer.
Hmm.
And
I
so, yeah,
wonder. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just saying, by doing this behind closed doors, like this girl wasn't part of their little clique. So I know none of them reached out to her and said, sorry about that, but you fucked this up. They just, good job, little feminist. Ugh.
Well, like I
Anyhow,
said, they like she's not a part of the core group. There's no reason like that, and it sounds bad, like I said, but and this is just a theory, but I think it's a part of keeping the dummies dumb because they're like she's not big enough to have any influence, so it's okay if she's stupid. Like she can push whatever narrative she wants as long as it supports feminism and our cause. Then we don't care if her facts are incorrect. Just let her do her. That's fine.
mhm.
We'll just pat her on the back and make sure she keeps the dumb people dumb, and we'll discuss her flaws in private company. And I think that's just like and what I was about to say earlier is I wonder if you notice the difference. Like there seems to be factions in both groups, but what happens is there's multiple factions in the anti-SJW group. There's a whole bunch of different people who think a whole bunch of different things, and they're very nuanced and ranged. And it's really hard to put a lot of us in one whatever, because we're all over the place. But
Mhm.
there's two factions in SJW community. It is believers and non-believers. That's it. And
Mhm.
if you ever see them criticizing each other, it is for going against the grain. That's it. It's not about bad ideas. It's not about something they said. It was about you are not following our fucking Bible. Like you need to be following the doctrine. You're not doing it. You need to be exiled. Those are the skirmishes you see over there. And I'm like,
And
that's interesting.
and that's what we saw with Lacey Green. And one of the funniest parts about the whole Lacey Green thing to me is so many of the SJWs is, oh, it's just because she's fucking that Nazi Chris Raygun now. Chris Raygun is a very liberal dude. He's anti SJW, but he's actually liberal. He's not,
As fuck too. Like he's pretty liberal, and I swear to God, I'm like they must think his dick is a magic wand. Like
yes.
clearly.
Well, I would imagine him and Lacey have far more in common than me and him do.
Oh yeah, I'm quite sure.
Because I'm fairly conservative, especially on a personal level. On a societal level, do what you want as long as it's not fucking with me. I don't care. But if you ask my personal opinion, I tend to lean conservative. So while me and Chris might both jump on the same video and even make some of the same points about how stupid shit is, when it comes to our personal political philosophy, we're
Mm-hmm.
not close at all. We're
Mm-hmm.
just not.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lacey's a cunt because she's fucking a liberal dude. I don't get that.
Well, like
Anyhow,
I said, it was the word that's been used frequently is it was a betrayal.
yeah,
She turned on her, and what's really crazy is she's like, I still advocate for all of you people. I've been 10 years, and falling in line with you, and I've done all this stuff on a not only social level, but like on on a level that's like way above like government level. I've went for government regulation and all types of stuff like that to validate and to help you guys out, and me literally engaging in something that's personal for myself and then deciding to open up my forum to conversation is a complete betrayal. Like everything I've done is now gone. I
yeah.
don't get that at all.
She's the enemy, even though she's still basically on their same side. It's and her sin was talking to us.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same sin Rez had. She
Mm-hmm.
she talked to us, and I've seen so many stories of this. One of the reasons that the Lacey story resonated with me so much is because I've watched a lot of videos of people who used to be feminists,
Yeah.
and when they start to break away from it, even just a little tiny bit, all of their friends stop talking to them. They're ostracized from the group. They're excommunicated.
Mm-hmm.
And that tends to push them all the way over to the anti-SJW side eventually.
Yeah, and even when those type of situations happen over here, like let's just say, for example, Teal Deer and his fucking bullshit that he's been kind of going on lately or whatever. I really did like Teal Deer for a while, and I'm not gonna say I dislike him now, but he's just he's being a little weird. But the bottom line is, like, let's just say we were all going out and we were about to meet somewhere, and they're like, Teal Deer's gonna be there. I'm like, cool, fuck yeah, like.
Yeah.
Not like, oh shit, he's gonna be there? No, he can't hang with us. Like, it's like, no, tell that motherfucker to come over. Like,
I've been rather critical of Teal Deer. Um, I think the guy portrays himself as kind of an asshole on many subjects here on YouTube, but I do agree with him on many things.
yeah,
And on those things, I appreciate that he's on the same side as me.
yeah,
On the things we disagree with, I am not ashamed or afraid to tell him I disagree with you. And like you said, if somebody said, hey, we're all going to meet up and Teal Deer is going to be there, I would actually be excited for that meeting.
yeah.
And I would tell him flat out, I think you're kind of a dick, but I appreciate the good stuff you do. That was Rez. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourself. And like I said, I will be doing a video about you. But watching the stuff from VidCon, this is something I do have a problem with the anti-SJW community.
Mm-hmm.
And it really bothers me. So many people met somebody that they have trashed, in the past,
Mm-hmm.
and they've changed the way they're going to treat them.
Yeah,
That bothers me because what that's saying is you were doing it just to be mean before. It wasn't just jokes. You were treating them as less than human at that point. I have never said anything on any of my videos that I would not say to somebody's face.
yeah,
Because I'm not doing it to be mean. I mean, sometimes it's a mean joke, but it's a fucking joke.
mm-hmm.
And if you get to the point where you finally meet somebody you've said this stuff about, and you're like, oh my God, they're here. You shouldn't be talking that way.
Mm-hmm.
Period. If you can't stand behind what you said, don't talk like that.
Yeah,
Don't do it just to be edgy and fuck you.
yeah. I mean, and that does definitely imply that, where it's like, oh, as soon as you meet them in person, like that animosity you had and that drive to tell them, now all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is really nice to meet you, and it probably is, but it's just like, stick to your guns, man. Or they were like, I heard you said this about me. You're like, oh yeah, you know what? I'm really sorry about that. It's like, no, I meant it.
It was a joke, motherfucker. Get over it.
Yeah, I did. I'm sure you had some unsavory things to say about me.
That doesn't mean you can't be friendly with them. That's one of my problems with modern day politics is there used to be times where Republicans and Democrats were still friends.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing because it reminds us that the other side is human.
Exactly.
And we need that.
Oh yeah. And like, I don't know. I've never really, I've been on like different sides of all kinds of kind of debates and arguments or just like whatever. And like, never have I thought of like the opposition. Like, and the only time I ever have, like, there was one person that I can think of ever that I used to be kind of really back and forth with, because he's kind of a Black Lives Matter activist, like a really hardcore kind of almost Malcolm X-ish Black Lives Matter activist or whatever. Mm-hmm. But he's really smart. Like he's very intellectually sound. He makes good points or whatever, but he gets really dogmatic and really kind of aggressive when it comes to certain topics. You know what I mean? So we were having this one discussion about this certain thing, and he was like, dude, man, like, bottom line, if a couple white people need to die in order for us to get what we need to do, and then that's what's going to happen. That's what needs to happen. And I'm like, see, that I draw the line right there. I'm like, I can't, no. Like, and like I said, for other people, you can say stuff I disagree with or whatever, but there are certain things we can't bounce back from. Like, no, I'm sorry.
For me, that was the Shives moment when he's talking about how somebody getting punched. Richard Spencer, when he got punched, was not saying anything racist. He wasn't saying anything homophobic. He was not being offensive in any way. And some jackass comes out of nowhere and punches him in the side of the head, which, by the way, can kill a person if you hit them right.
Mm-hmm.
And It's like, well, I wouldn't shed a tear if he never left his house again because this always happened. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
No, that is advocating violence for speech. And no. And
Yeah.
then you had like Christiosity in that same stream. Well, fascism is, a horrible thing. So technically it's self-defense. I'm like, are you out of your fucking mind?
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like, come on, dude.
What you just said is it. You cannot come back from that. Once you decide that violence is an acceptable answer to speech, you can't come back from that, because then anything is worthy of hitting somebody over.
Exactly. And like the only reason, and we've made this point before, lots of people have made this point before, the only reason they can say that with confidence is because these idiots are fully convinced that the social and political climate that we have right now is just going to stick. Like, there's no way it's going to change. Like, this is clearly right. And I'm like, so what if the people with the money, the people with the power, and the people with the pull and the influence start turning against you? What if the media starts to stop pushing your narrative? What if the government officials and all these people who are cheering you on and supporting you suddenly stop supporting you? What if the speech that is coming out of your mouth right now becomes the speech that is a punchable offense? Then what?
Yep.
Then what? Then you're like, oh, wait, well, hold on. Well, now hitting people is wrong because now we're getting hit. No, that ain't how it works.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna be the first. Like, I don't want to be that guy, but if somebody's just like, all right, it's cool to punch SJWs, I'm like, I told you. I told you.
I might take a swing or two. Just saying. If I was ever in New Zealand or something. Regarding the stuff about VidCon, Warped Reflection said sometimes people bite their tongue not to bring down everyone else's mood. I'm not saying that if I met somebody, let's say I went to VidCon and met Riley J. Dennis, my first reaction wouldn't be, you're a fucking dude. I would still, I mean, hi, I'm Ranting Monkey. Yeah, I've made some videos about you. Yeah, I think you're wrong about stuff. Doesn't mean I couldn't have a drink with the dude.
Oh yeah,
I mean, he doesn't drink, but I don't hate Riley Dennis. I think he's a fucking idiot, and I would have no problem telling him I think he's a fucking idiot. But
and if we had a conversation up front, what I mean? Like, if we're conversating, then obviously I'm going to be polite. If we start debating and you say something equivalent to how dumb it was in a video, I might call you a dumbass. It just might happen.
And my problem wasn't just that they were nice to him there. I have no problem with them being nice to him while they were there. It's that they've come back and it's like, I was kind of too mean here. Well, if you were too mean, don't do that again, because you weren't doing it out of humor. You weren't doing it because that's just your personality or whatever. You were doing it to be mean, and that's the wrong motivation.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem with the people who actually who were being assholes for the sake of being assholes, and to come back from VidCon and was like, God damn, like I was really doing that to be an asshole, and they're like, okay, I'm gonna stop, and then they stop, and I'm like, okay, whatever. You noticed you were doing something, and you decided to make a change. That is totally up to you, whatever. But it's like, don't be like, yeah, I made amends with this one particular person, and we're cool now. And then make like 6 other videos about other people doing the same shit.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. I don't mind them being like, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore, as long as it's even across the field and it's not just because they met that one person.
Yeah, because now that one person gets preferential treatment, and then you still treat everybody else the same.
Exactly. That's, and this goes back to the whole humanity thing, because at that moment, what you're saying is, I met this person, so now they're a human. And these other people aren't, so they still deserve the shitty thing I'm going to do to them.
Yeah.
If you think it's shitty, don't do it. For fuck's sake, don't do it.
Yeah. I don't see if you truly believe that, that's perfectly fine.
I am going to have to wrap this up soon, but if you guys in chat have any questions, toss them out there. We'll answer a few here real quick.
Yeah, man. Shoot me some questions.
How's Squishy doing?
She's good, man. She got bumped up to manager, and she's simultaneously happy and losing her mind at the same time. Oh my God. She comes home every day with a nice hot story right out the oven about how dumb the people who works for her is.
I've been a manager. I feel her pain.
That is the Kowski boss.
Ben Jacoby asks, it was actually directed to somebody else, but he said we can answer too. Do you think Riley actually transitioned? No, I don't. Here's my take on Riley. Yes, Riley's getting his face shaved down so he can look a little bit more like a woman. But it's still just dress up to him. He's not taking hormones because he actually has dysphoria. If you watch the video that he put out where he explained he was going to have this, he highlights the clip from him talking to Milo a year ago at VidCon where he says he has a little dysphoria. And then he says, I'm happy with my body.
Yeah.
Those two things don't exist together.
Yeah, they don't.
Much like Milo Stewart, he's taking hormones because he thinks that's what trans people should do, not because he thinks he's a woman. He's shaving his face because he wants to look a little prettier, not because he thinks he's a woman. He's doing these things. It's still just dress up to him. And that is my opinion on that.
Yeah, my opinion's a little bit different. Like, I just put it this way: if a person was like, I'm trying to be a cop because I believe in justice, and then like as they're going through this process, you find out that that's not why they're trying to do it. They're actually full of shit. They don't believe in justice, but they made it through basic training. They did all the shit they needed to do. They took all the classes. They got their badge. I'm like, all right. I mean, I still feel like you didn't do it for the right reasons, and you're fucking perpetrating. But you're a cop, so I'm like, okay, if you've been taking hormones and you're gonna get the surgery to do all the stuff you need to do, I'll acknowledge the fact that you're a woman. But I still think you're kind of a trender. But whatever, whatever.
using your metaphor, let me explain my Riley thing. Women are real police. Riley went and got a job as a mall cop, specifically to get a job as a mall cop, not because he couldn't make it as a police officer, but because he thought that was close enough to being a woman. That's my take on Riley.
You calling Riley a rent-a-cop?
Yeah, he's a fucking rent-a-cop. Am I going to give Lady Monkey that foot rub? Okay, let's get this out there. Lady Monkey gets a lot of foot rubs. And I will rub her feet anytime she wants, and she knows that. Don't let her game you guys. Don't fall for her woman wiles.
Should I admit that I was the one who started that?
You little fucker.
You can go ahead and ask her about it, because about 5 days ago, I literally was like, she said something about like just being tired or something, or I can't remember exactly what it was, but I was like, well, you should kick back, get yourself an alcoholic beverage, and have Monkey rub your feet. This is like days ago, and ever since I've been asking her every time I see her, like, hey, did you get that foot rub?
You little fucker. Yeah. I will rub her feet all the time. I offer often. I haven't in a while because she keeps saying no. But this woman is spoiled. Don't fall for that shit. And she deserves to be spoiled too. So
yeah, try to win it
back. Is gender identity personally defined or socially defined?
I think gender identity is personally defined. I think sex is more of a social thing than gender is. I think gender, and like the way that I look at it, to make it easier for me, because I was pulling my hair out about this shit, but I was just like, okay, gender is it's whatever's in your head, whatever you think about, wherever you fall on this spectrum that you claim there is, that's your gender. That has absolutely nothing to do with biological sex. As long as we separate those things, I don't give a fuck what you think you are. That's where I stand. I'm like, as long as we can keep them separate and I can acknowledge that you are biologically one or the other, I don't give a shit what you prance around pretending to be. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm pretty much there too. I don't really care how you want to dress and what you want to call yourself. For me, the problem comes in when you start telling me what I have to call you.
Yeah.
Because you wanting attention doesn't mean shit to me. It really doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
The emo kids back in the 90s weren't a new gender, and neither are you.
Yeah.
You can do it. I don't care. I don't think there should be laws against it or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But stop pretending it makes you special in a way that needs all this attention. Fuck off. It's just how you're dressing. Fuck you.
Oh yeah, and that's what I tell people. I'm like, if you come at me in a way where you feel like you're entitled to something that literally I would literally wouldn't extend to anybody else, then fuck you. But I'm like if okay, and this is just me just trying to be a relatively decent person. I don't really care, but like I was having a conversation with somebody on Twitter a little while ago, and you know, like I thought it was like a full blown because she looks like a woman, you know what I mean? I was just like, and you know, they're like, oh well, you know, I use blah blah blah, and I'm just like, oh okay. And like from that conversation, from that point, because it wasn't like you asshole, you're trying to. It was just like, just FYI, this is what I go by, and I'm like, oh okay, cool, thanks for letting me know. And like the conversation progressed from that point, and I'm like, that wasn't a big deal. It's not a big deal. You weren't an asshole. Fine, you know, is anything to like so we can further the conversation, because everything else is just like nitpicking on little shit. But if you're a dick, if you're an asshole, if you come at me disrespectful, or you're like, I demand that you, I'm like, fuck you. This conversation's over. Have a nice day.
Real quick, several people have asked if you're going to do a game stream tonight.
I should actually do that. Actually, yeah, I might. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
On that topic, there was a story we covered the other night. Police, I forget where it's at, but this police officer has to go through special training now because he stopped a transgender woman who even has it marked on her driver's license that she's a woman, and kept referring to it as a he. Now, we looked up the picture of this transgender woman. He's not even trying. He looks like a 50-year-old man who's balding. There is nothing about him at all that looks feminine. Feminine. He just did it because he wants, to cause trouble. And people like that, go fuck yourself. Somebody like Blair White, I will refer to Blair as a she all the time because, one, Blair's not an ass to me about it. She's not out there forcing anybody. She doesn't even say people have to. She's done videos saying, you know what? I'm biologically still a dude. And she's not forcing anything. If you watch Riley's videos are all about forcing change in society, even to the point of taking words and calling them violence.
Yeah.
Purposefully misgendering is violent.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
It's not, dumbass. And by saying that, him saying that this is violence, what he's saying is you should be in jail for this. And that's where I have a problem. And Riley is a Tumblr trans. He's somebody who, much like Milo, discovered Tumblr in high school and college and suddenly became a woman. That's not dysphoria. I tend not to acknowledge it if you're an asshole.
Yeah.
But if Riley wasn't pushing his trans nonsense, I'd have no problem calling him a she. But as long as he's doing that shit, then I'm going to fight him on it because he's an asshole.
Oh yeah, and I totally understand that sentiment. It's just like I don't want to deal with like your entitlements. I don't give a fuck about your entitlements. I don't care about that shit. If you want to be treated like a person, then treat me like a person. And like a person you don't know. And there's a way to treat a person you don't know. And don't come at me like I owe you something. I don't owe you shit. So,
yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's just like plain and simple, and that goes for any situation. It ain't even really got nothing to do with this. If somebody walks up to you and presumes that you were going to do something for them just because they were there, I'm just like, I don't know who the fuck you think you are.
Yeah,
I know you.
Well, it's amazing. I don't even remember what video it was in. There was some video where I made that comment. I don't owe you shit. And so many people got pissed off at that. Like, no, I literally don't owe you shit.
Yeah. Oh, you motherfucking thing. Like, I don't like respect is earned. Like, I don't have to. I'm not just handing out respect. Like, I ain't got a fucking just a infinite backpack of the shit to just hand out to people. Like, no, you got to earn it.
Yeah.
Earned.
I don't even have to look in your direction.
Yeah.
Literally. I don't have to acknowledge you at all. That's kind of a dick way to live your life if you actually treat people that way.
Oh yeah.
But I am fairly nice to everybody I meet, but My wife was on the stream with us not too long ago, and I had her answer the question whether I am just like this in person or on. I've like puffed myself up for the internet,
Yeah.
and she goes, "Actually, you're nicer on the internet, so keep that in mind, guys."
Oh fuck. I can
On
see
the
that.
internet,
I can
well,
see that.
in my videos, I can stop and erase and take back stuff. In person, it just comes out.
Yeah, and the filter's gone. There's no editing software for real life, bitch.
Yeah, no shit.
You're getting the real deal.
Why do transgender women want to put F on their driver's license when driver's license has their sex, not gender? This is something I've actually started to tell people when they bring up the pronoun shit. I use sex pronouns, not gender pronouns.
Yeah.
And the sex pronouns are he, she. So.
And that's it.
Yeah. His and hers, guys. That's what exists.
Oh wait, Monkey, did you see what I posted earlier?
Probably not.
It was like a piece of a conversation that was had. I was talking to this person, and they had I called them a bigot because they were being a bigot. And he was like, well, of course I am, because I'm white and I'm a racist, clearly. But I do whatever I can for the black community. And I was like, wow, that was one hell of a response. And then I was like, well, it was nice talking to you, but I'm gonna go now. and then they were like, oh shit, what did they say to me? Oh, I said, it was nice talking to you, sir. And it was like, likewise, but don't call me sir. And I was like, you got it, human. Because I mean, and I think that's gonna be my go-to for anything. Like, if I meet anybody who looks questionable, I'm just gonna be like, hello, human.
Well, long before the whole trans debate ever happened, I worked at Walmart, and I was working back in the layaway department, and this person came up, and luckily I was not involved in the transaction. They asked for something, and the person said, answered them and said, "You have a good day, sir." And the bitch flipped out because she was a woman. And after she left, apparently she comes there all the time, and it's almost like she does it on purpose. She's a very masculine looking woman. And this isn't trans. This is, bad hormones. So people have been freaking out about, pronouns for a long time, but at least in that case, it makes sense. This is a woman who, unfortunately looks like a man, who just wanted to be called by the right thing.
Yeah.
And I can respect that person getting upset by it, because that's got to be hard. Your whole, she didn't just turn this way yesterday.
Yeah.
Probably gets that a lot. So I get being beat down by that. But when you take on that oppression and you don't have to, go fuck yourself. That's one of the things I have a problem with. People, I hate to use this word, but appropriating oppression. Riley Dennis isn't oppressed in any fucking way.
Oh yeah.
He's a rich little white kid. Got too much time on his hands, so he made himself a woman to have some oppression. Instead of, buying a video game console and having some fun in his fucking life.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess. Well, never mind.
Okay.
Oh boy.
End that there, because I got sunburned like a motherfucker today.
Oh, for it? You went outside? I'm proud of you, man.
Well, it's nice out, and watching my granddaughter, she loves to be outside, and we have a pool set up for her, and a little sprinkler set up for her, and we were out there all damn day. The problem is I can't wear a shirt very often because it hurts my back. Well, when you're as white as I am, you shouldn't be out in the sun that long.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna go lay down on my chest and curse my parents for having such fair skin.
I'm probably gonna go game then. I don't really know what I'm gonna play, but if you guys would like to join me, if Monkey will allow, I'll drop the Twitch link for you guys, and you guys can come and hang out with me.
Yeah, drop it in there, dude.
All right, let's go ahead and post it over. Probably gonna be playing Plague Inc. most likely, because killing people is fun.
Peter
Uh,
asks, how do shirts hurt my back? Anything touching my back hurts, especially in the shoulder blade area. It's just painful.
I was gonna ask that too, but I'm like, I feel like that has an obvious answer.
Uh, it's very, very sensitive skin.
Yeah,
Which, by the way, you shouldn't burn really sensitive skin.
yeah, that's not a good idea.
All right, guys, there's the link. Make sure you go watch Satsu. Go check out his channel too. Satsu does great videos. And I'm a bit behind on them, but I'm guessing he hasn't gone to shit since I last saw one.
Now I've been improving, like I told you. Like I just need to fix. Like the only problem is like this new program handles sound weird, so I might have to start using Audacity to like record my sound because um the original like 8 did sound very well, but for some reason 9 is just really weird with sound. So I might have to start using Audacity again. But other than that, everything like you'll see like once you take a look. And actually, to get a really good example, go to my second channel. You know what it's called, right?
I'm subscribed to your second channel, I believe.
Yeah, it's 2 cents plus. Go there and look at the most recent video that I put up. It's like 5 reasons I love video games, because I did a full scale production video, like with all the tricks and bells and whistles that this new program offers. And you'll see like how the quality of my videos has gone up. This program is pretty nice, man. It's pretty awesome.
Cool. All right, guys. And we are going to end it there. Chat, thank you so much for coming. You guys are awesome. Satsu, great talking to you, man. I always love talking with you.
I need to jump on your streams more because I haven't actually been doing my gaming streams as consistently as I said I was going to. Yeah,
understand.
Yeah, so definitely, just feel free to presume sending me invites again, and I'll pop in and surprise you every now and then.
Cool. All right, dude. But otherwise, great talking to you, and I hope to talk to you again real soon.
All right,
bye,
buddy.
guys.